Good afternoon, everyone. It's Katie Joy from Without a Crystal Ball. How are you? How are you? All right, so I just want to give a humongous shout out to my subscriber, Lindsay, who sent me this amazing cup. She noticed that I'm always drinking water, and I love to use refillable cups with these reusable straws. And she just sent me this. It's hard to see, but it says Katie Joy on it. So thank you so much, Lindsay. I love it. Okay. Welcome to the channel. If you are brand new, please subscribe by clicking below, as well as turning on notifications by pressing that bell sign or ringing the bell. If you are already a subscriber, welcome back. And to all of my members, welcome. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. And if you would like to support the channel and allow us to bring you more content related to all kinds of fundy topics, some of which are not allowed to be monetized by YouTube, make sure you click the join button below to earn perks. Okay, so we've been covering the Duggars for a long time. Now, initially when we started covering the Duggars, people were a little bit surprised because there's Duggar fans, and then there's Duggar snark, and then there's somewhere in between. And I like to think of myself as in between. I am very critical of what goes on in the Duggar household because of the ways of their belief system through the Institute of Basic Life Principles and Bill Gothard, and how that belief system had caused a lot of issues in relation to the girls and Josh when they were younger, and his admitted improprieties he did to his sisters and a babysitter, and then how the parents, Jim, Bob, and Michelle, completely fumbled this mess and made the girls almost believe as though nothing happened. There's nothing to see here. We know that that's the case in terms of when the Jessa and Jill were interviewed in 2015 by Megyn Kelly on Fox News. So despite all of the despite the fact that they have all these scandals out, including lawsuits, there's Austin is currently being sued. We've got other people being sued. We've got Josh Duggar in active litigation. There's active lawsuits with the Duggar girls. We've got a lot of stuff going on. There's an active investigation with the Department of Homeland Security. And then Derick Dillard was dropping a lot of bombs earlier last week in relation to his family. So what happened? Derick Dillard last week basically goes on Instagram and says that Jim Bob controls everything. The kids aren't paid. They don't have contracts. The kids are pressured to film. He alleges that Jill was pressured by TLC and Jim Bob to film the show, despite the fact that she had recently come forward as a victim of her brother Josh. And he says that the pressure and the veiled threats of lawsuits have ultimately put him and his family in a position where they felt like they needed to get away for their own sanity, which has left Jill kind of on the outs with the rest of her family. So while the rest of the family moved on, TLC rebranded the show. They rebranded. They didn't really change the show to Counting On. They took Jim Bob and Michelle and tossed them off to the side. And then they also didn't allow Josh to be on the show anymore. This past season, it's had a lot of people agitated because, let me tell you why. Hold on a second. It has a lot of people irritated because Jim, Bob, and Michelle showed back up on the show, which made a lot of people frustrated. They were supposed to not be able to be on the show after what happened in 2015. And then we had the whole issue of Anna Duggar coming back onto the show. So this past season had some people agitated because why was TLC allowing this to be a part of it, being when they were, when everything happened 5 years ago, almost 5 years ago, everything was like, well, they're not going to be on the show, no one. And then the Duggars have been trying to push this Josh has been redeemed storyline, which has also got a lot of people irritated. And now there's this looming investigation related to the Department of Homeland Security. So a lot of people speculate that Derick Dillard might be a whistleblower here. But in the middle of all of this, Jessa and Jinger got together and spent the holidays together. So if you know, Jinger and her husband Jeremy actually moved to Los Angeles, where Jeremy is tending a ministry. He's getting his theological degree, I believe a master's of theology. And Jinger and Jessa have a very tight relationship, maybe similar to the one that Jill has with Joy. Although a lot of people are starting to wonder if Jill is getting left out of a lot of these trios. Jill, Jessa, and Jinger are all in a row and very close in age, so you would think that the three of them would want to spend time together. Well, Jessa went and visited Jinger, and it was only a couple earlier in December that Jessa wrote this to Jinger. Happiest birthdays to my sister and my best friend. Your beautiful wife and mother, sister, daughter, companion, and friend. Those who are blessed to know you can't imagine life without you. When meeting someone new, you're engaging and you take genuine interest in getting to know them. You put people at ease by your words and speak with the kindness you express. When approaching a familiar face, you're the first to speak up and greet the other person by name, following up with the meaningful questions about what they're up to and what's going on in their world. You're a godly example of a woman who loves the Lord with her whole heart, and the people who know this by the way that you spread his love to the world around you. I look up to you and I love you so much. So after that, they celebrated, Jessa and Ben and her kids celebrated with the three kids, celebrated with the Duggars. They went to Christmas Eve at the Duggars' home, or Christmas Day. And then Derick drops all these bombs on Instagram. He basically says that this whole thing is a scam. Jim Baum is not paying the kids. They are being defrauded, that he's shady. TLC is shady. There's going to be lawsuits. He's in law school, blah, 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 blah. Well, then Jessa flies out to Jinger and surprises her with a trip. Whoa. So she says, look who decided to surprise us with a visit during the holiday season, this is a picture of Jinger and Jessa. Jinger with her daughter, and then Jessa with her little girl Ivy, who she just had this past summer at home, which was featured on the show Counting On, which was a surprise home birth. I don't think it was so surprising. And she had a hemorrhage, which actually ended her up in the hospital, where she had to get some emergency Pitocin and go and get some IVs. Jeremy then followed it up by a photo of him with his wife, their daughter, and Jessa and Ben. Now you can notice that Jessa is not wearing pants. Jinger is vastly, enjoying those pants. She loves the pants. Jinger is a pants-wearing fool. Jinger is wearing Jessa's wearing her normal knee-length skirt, and her shoes are cute, I guess. And then there's Ben. Ben is boring. Boring Ben. Okay. So Jeremy says, being with family is always extra special during this time of year. It's been fun having Ben and Jessa with us for a few days recently. Ivy Jane is growing so fast. Love you guys and miss you already. But then over at Jill Land, Jill, if you follow her on Instagram and on social media, is very, 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 very regular with posting. And I'm not talking about regular with her menstrual cycle. I'm talking about regular with posting content on her Instagram page. She's got, I think, over 1 million people that are following her, and she has not posted a dang thing since December 23rd. This is a woman that has posted daily, who consistently puts stories. She shares recipes. She's always, check my blog out, check this out, check that out. And now it's December 23rd. It's now January 2nd. We are 10 days of no posts at all by Jill. Nothing. Silence. And this coincides with her husband actually dropping all of those bombs about what is going on in the family, which has me wondering, is she taking a social media break following what was said by Derick, or is this sort of, a stand she's taking? Is she not coming back to social media because she doesn't want the questions? Is she embarrassed? Is she afraid? I feel bad because I feel like Jill doesn't have a voice and Derick is being her voice. And I hope that she's not fearful that if she can't, I hope that her not posting is due to fear, because I feel like the fact that Derick has been so open and honest will make a lot of people that have gone through similar things like Jill, them feel connected to her. Maybe she's not ready for that type of response. She has never really, he called her a victim, and that's the first time someone really has acknowledged that in the family. Even Jill and Jessa don't really, when they were interviewed by Megyn Kelly, had never really said that. And so maybe there's this shame of being that. I don't know. It's so hard to know, but I really hope that Jill knows that if this is coming, if she's not posting for those reasons, that, you know, she should have no fear. Come out and post, Jill. So many people have your back. So many survivors of what you've been through will gladly welcome their arms, open arms. There's no shame in what you've been through. And, you know, you too deserve to have a voice in this. So hopefully the radio silence is not related to being scared. Meanwhile, we have the ongoing Duggar investigation that continues to stall. We don't really know what's going on, but the federal government will not say anything until an arrest or an indictment is made. So that's where we're at. Jessa and Jinger are off in LA being best friends. Jill is isolated with Derick. Derick is standing up for the family. And Ben and Michelle and Jim Bob are like, there's nothing to see here. We're perfect. Everything's fine. And Michelle's like, I am joyfully available for Jim Bob all the time. So what are your thoughts? I think it's sweet that Jessa went and visited Jinger. I feel like Jinger fled Arkansas to get away from her family. I hope that more people, when they visit Jinger out in that real world, see what things are not as scary as their parents have made them believe it to be. And I really hope that Jill doesn't stay off social media forever and really knows that so many people support her and her journey. All right, you guys, I'll be back with more. If there's any comments or questions you have, put them in there. Also, if you have things that you want to forward me for stories or suggestions, I'm going to ask moving forward, instead of using my social media to send that stuff, because my social media DMs get really clogged, why don't you send me an email at withoutacrystalball78 or withoutacrystalball78@gmail.com if you have a tip or something that you'd like me to cover. Also, all my social media is below, along with links to becoming a member. And make sure before you leave, you click that thumbs up and you hit subscribe if you haven't already. And if you love Fundy Snark, make sure you check out my video I just completed on Mariah Plath and she's opening up about how alone she feels having lived with a family and a mother who also are part of the quiverful world. One by one, they are free. These people are busting out and learning that there's way more to this life than the oppressive institute of basic life principles. All right, you guys, I'll be back in a little bit with more.